Ethiopian authorities have just released their initial findings on the crash of Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 that killed all 157 people on board. As CBS's Moller Report explains, those authorities insist the pilots did what they were trained to do, yet still couldn't control the plane's descent.
More than 3 weeks after Flight 302 went down into a rural field in Ethiopia, Ethiopian authorities have released 4 initial findings. Number 1, the aircraft had passed a certificate of airworthiness. Secondly, the crew had obtained a license to safely fly. Third, that the initial takeoff appeared normal. And number 4,
the crew performed all the procedures repeatedly provided by the manufacturer, but was not able to control the aircraft.
Ethiopian officials did not directly address reports that a damaged sensor on the plane relayed bad information to the 737 MAX's MCAS anti-stall system, causing it to push the nose of the plane down. Officials say they're still reviewing reports that pilots, as the plane was losing altitude, broke with procedure and turned the system off and then on again.
The major objective of this investigation is to make sure that there is safety in the aviation sector. It's not to blame someone.
Now Ethiopian authorities are recommending Boeing review the aircraft control system and confirm the problem has been solved before allowing 737 MAX jets to fly again. The FAA says the investigation remains ongoing as it continues to work toward a full understanding of all aspects of this accident. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Ethiopian officials say based on flight data and cockpit voice data, they cannot yet determine whether there was a structural problem with the Boeing MAX 8. Since the crash, the MAX jets have been grounded worldwide pending a software fix that Boeing is rolling out, which must still receive approval from the Federal Aviation Administration and other regulators. Boeing and the FAA are both under investigation for how the 737 MAX planes were certified to fly. Former Vice President Joe Biden posted a video on Twitter after women came forward to say he touched them in a way that made them feel uncomfortable. Biden, who is expected to enter the 2020 presidential race, acknowledged he has caused discomfort for some, but he did not apologize and defended his personal interactions. And the House Judiciary Committee voted to authorize subpoenas for the full release of the Moller Report. Attorney General William Barr has said he would release the report by mid-April, but with redactions. Following the release of a report by the Northern Plains Resource Council on coal ash cleanup in coal strip, the DEQ, the agency that will ultimately make the cleanup decisions, says it will consider the report as it would other comments from the public. The DEQ has already requested that Talon evaluate excavation of ash in the 1, 2, 3, and 4 pond areas. The agency is still evaluating the different alternatives to determine what would be most effective and will take into account the information provided in the Northern Plains report. The DEQ is working with Talon on a remedy to address the contamination. Its report is expected to be out and ready for public comment at the end of the summer. From the campaign trail, Montana's 2020 race for governor is already getting crowded. State Senator Al Olszewski of Kalispell became the 3rd prominent Republican to officially kick off his campaign for the seat. He kicked off his campaign on the Capitol steps Wednesday, backed by more than 24 fellow legislators supporting him. The Kalispell State Senator joins 2 other prominent Republicans already in the race for governor, Attorney General Tim Fox and Secretary of State Corey Stapleton. So far, no Democratic candidate has emerged for Montana governor in 2020. Steve Bullock, a Democrat, cannot run for re-election next year because of term limits. Back here in Yellowstone County, a former county attorney says she was discriminated against because she's transgender. Eleanor Maloney says she was denied gender-affirming health care under the county's insurance plan. The Montana Human Rights Bureau says Yellowstone County violated the insurance provision of the Montana Human Rights Act. That act says an insurance product cannot discriminate on the basis of sex. The Bureau says the county denied medical procedures related to changing from one sex to another, as well as therapeutic counseling for gender dysphoria. Maloney resigned from her position in June of 2018. The county has 30 days to work with Maloney or the complaint will go to a formal hearing. The county denies any discrimination and states in a court filing that there is no protection for transgender individuals under state and federal law. 1.5 pounds of meth, 26 grams of cocaine, and illegally owned guns lands a Billings man behind bars for 15 years. 31-year-old Alexander Graybull was sentenced Wednesday for a 2017 crime. Billings police officers arrested Graybull after a traffic stop. Graybull didn't have a license with him and refused to give the officer any personal information. This led to a pat-down where the officer discovered a bag of meth. After a canine unit alerted officers to more illegal substances in the vehicle, a search warrant was obtained. That's when officers found the large quantities of drugs, a gun, and a number of ammunition cartridges. Graybull's prior felony convictions prohibit him from possessing firearms or ammunition. Graybull also has 3 pending felony charges in Yellowstone County, including assault with a weapon, aggravated kidnapping, and aggravated assault in the alleged beating of a woman and kidnapping of her and her children. Well, now we go to Glacier National Park, where the warm weather is creating some challenges for road plowing crews. It usually takes crews 3 months to plow the Going to the Sun Road so it can open for the summer. This year, avalanche danger could slow that process. After plowing, pavement preservation will follow, but each year crews have to pay close attention to the conditions.
If it's a really warm day, they've got to come down because there is too high of an avalanche danger for them to work. On the other hand, we could get a blizzard and, that would also dump a lot of snow up there. They'd have to go back and redo some work.
Allie says Going to the Sun Road will not open before June 21st, which is on par with last season when it opened on June 23rd. More grizzly bears are emerging from their winter dens along the Rocky Mountain front. Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks says a bear management specialist spotted 13 bears during a flight over the region this week, including 8 with radio collars. Because the bears are likely looking for food, now is a good time to remind landowners to secure or get rid of things that may attract bears. And if you're going to be in bear country, carry bear spray and know how to use it. It happens every year, the bird migration to Freeze Out Lake, and every spring the treasured event near Shoto draws tens of thousands of visitors. But this year things are different. MTN's Andy Curtis explains why.
I'm Andy Curtis with MTN News here at Freeze Out Lake between Shoto and Fairfield. And usually the scene behind me would be filled with migrating birds coming up from the southern coastal states, migrating north up into Canada. But that's not the case right now. We were talking with FWP officials earlier today, and they were telling us that because of the late cold snap, a lot of the water is frozen completely solid on top, and that's causing problems for the birds flying over. You see, they think the water's open, they come down close, find out that it's ice, and then they take back off again, and they go out in search of other open water, usually finding it farther from here. And that means that the bird numbers aren't typically as strong as they usually are here. That also means the amount of people coming out to bird watch in this incredible part of the state isn't as strong as well. But we're hoping that with some warmer weather coming in this next couple of weeks that might change, even though we are on the tail end of the migrationary period for the birds heading up north. Now, after talking to FWP officials, they were also telling us that this is such a great part of the state for the birds to land because it's the first stop they make on their way up north, and because of a lot of the agriculture surrounding the fields or the ponds, that is, it's a good place for birds to stop, rest, and eat. For MTN News, Andy Curtis.
Thank you so much, Andy. This week is recognized as No More Violence Week. It focuses on raising awareness and prompting action when it comes to child abuse, substance abuse, trafficking, predators, and more. One effect of violence: secondary trauma. University of Missoula professor and former social worker Dr. Jim Carnegie says secondary trauma happens when someone feels the effects or symptoms of another person's tragedy. He says that although it's common, not many people know what it is. Carnegie says identifying the underlying reason for the feelings can help with coping.
I think people sometimes have a sense of relief. I can say that when I worked in Alaska as a social worker before becoming a professor, I experienced it, and when I learned what it was, I felt relief, like, oh my God, I know what this is, and there's something I can do about it.
Carnegie says awareness about secondary trauma has grown, and events like No More Violence Week help spark continued conversation. Well, here at Q2, we're thrilled to let you know there are now less than 900 Billings St. Jude Dream Home tickets left. So if you've been thinking about it, now is the time to act. So far, the community has purchased 5,617 tickets to win this $500,000 classic design home in the Ironwood subdivision. And an extra bonus, if you buy that ticket before Friday at midnight, you're also entered for a chance to win a $10,000 Visa gift card to spend however you choose. To purchase the tickets, you can go to dreamhome.org or call 1-800-592-1621, and you're also entered to win that $10,000 prize. And tonight here on Q2, we'll take you back to St. Jude to meet an amazing little girl who is fighting cancer like a fierce princess. Tigers and elephants, acrobats and clowns. The annual Shrine Circus is underway in Billings. The circus hosted a special first showing on Wednesday afternoon for kids in special needs programs within School District 2 and those living in assisted care facilities. The circus always brings a crowd in Billings with 10 shows between last night's official kickoff and Sunday when the group packs up to leave town. The circus is drawing some opposition as well. Animal rights activists plan to protest this weekend. Q2 News had some very special guests in the studio yesterday. Students competing in the Amazing Shake put their skills to the test in front of the camera. Q2's Jenny Fick shows us.
Your job is to connect with the people that are here. Yep. The moment you walk up here, you're on. Well, we are here for the Amazing Shake at Q2. So this is the interview portion of their Amazing Shake experience. So they have to get on camera and come up with an answer, be able to articulate themselves.
Yeah, I remember you.
This is their chance to kind of feel that pressure of being in the spotlight and how they respond.
This is one of the final legs in the etiquette competition that initially starts with about 60 students.
They're going to be entering that workforce here in just another 4 or 5 years, and to give them that confidence as they go forward and give them the experiences to sit in front of an adult and have a conversation, think of ways to sometimes, I don't want to say sell yourself necessarily, but to be able to speak confidently about yourself and the skills that you have and the things that you can do. Those are hard for us to do as adults. So to get the kids kind of thinking along those lines already.
The challenge is intended to sharpen skills that can be utilized in college applications, job interviews, and in their daily lives.
Because it helps me have a job.
My hope would be that, like I said, just gives them that confidence. So when they walk in, they can walk in, I don't want to say like with a swagger, that they can hold their head high, pull their shoulders back, and be like, I got this, and I know what to do. I've been in this experience before.
They will utilize feedback and scores from Q2 judges and will shrink to 4 competitors.
Very good.
That's because it takes a lot of guts, a lot of determination, a lot of fortitude to be able to get through these challenges we put them through. But I think the number one thing is just they can do it. You know, sometimes we think these 10 and 11-year-olds, or we hear about this generation coming up, or whatever the case, and there's always those things that people talk about. But when you really get to know these kids and the things that they can do and you challenge them this way, just to see them step up, it's amazing.
In Billings, Jenny Fick, MTN News.
And from here, the students are challenged to think on their feet in impromptu situations with business professionals. Be sure to stay tuned over the next few weeks to see who is the most amazing shaker.